What's up, everybody out there on the different social media platforms? This is Sylvester Warren, your host for this segment of Moment of Clarity, Production Media. My subject matter is just, don't you just hate when what should be an asset ends up being a liability? When something is supposed to be an asset and ends up being a liability. Take, for instance, the majority black city council and the black administration at the city. What could have been a great asset for this community? A great asset, a liability. And you're like, how are they a liability? Well, here's what a liability is. A liability is something that typically runs the risk of causing you or me, in our case, taxpayers, to lose, right? It's a liability. You're losing. It's a bad deal. It's a bad investment, right? It's a bad return. Why is it a bad return? Because it's not gaining you anything. You're losing by having this particular relationship or this particular relationship as far as council members and administration as it relates to the city. Prime example. What have you gotten lately? Where's the plan? Where is the beautification? Where's the affordable housing? Where are the things for senior? Where are the new roads that should be paved? Where are the things for kids? The upgrades when it comes to recreation. Where is the money being allocated in these areas that need it the most? Right? There's no priority when it comes to the least of us in this community, by the least of us being the majority on the council. That's a serious liability. And let me tell you another thing. It is very disgusting when you have people like Vanessa, Mr. Bowden, Davion, Nathan, Lonjanae, myself, and many other young blacks who have fought and continue to fight to try to do very, very positive things in this community. And we meet the greatest roadblock by our own elected officials who are in control, meaning they have the majority vote to help us achieve these things, which are great for our community. We've asked for nothing that is outside of fair. But what they choose to do is tell us no so that they can make somebody else happy other than their own people and own community that is perishing. That's a problem. How y'all don't see that's a problem? Hopefully in 26 you're with me. We know that there's some people that's on the city council that must go. District 10 cannot look the same. It will not look the same. Just like District 12 could not stay the same. And we got to get rid of these folks that are not serving us and begin to put somebody in there that's willing. And those who say they're willing, if they don't, we get rid of them. And we don't wait until the election cycle to get rid of them. We go ahead and do what is called a recall. And that's something that we need to start utilizing to our advantage. When people say they're going to do something, they get in office, don't do it, recall them. Get them out early, put somebody back in the chair who will. They won't do it, put them out until we get that person that gives us what we deserve. Point in case, I am sick of having to have to deal with the nonsense. I'm self-made. I'm independent. There's no playing games or nothing you're going to be able to do to stop me. Why do y'all even attempt to? For instance, I'm building affordable houses. I'm not asking y'all for any money. But what y'all do when I get ready to have something put on the agenda so that it can be passed, y'all what? Try to kick the can down the road. I done got 3 different dates on a piece of property that I own that's supposed to be on the agenda for a resolution, right? and it's to build affordable houses in District 12. New council member district, right? And where are all these people that's on the council? You should be running to my aid and rescue, telling your city attorney, do not play around with my items on the agenda, because guess what it's doing? It's putting people in houses at an affordable amount, and it's adding tax revenue to what? The city tax base. And guess what else it's doing? It's adding a permanent water bill, right, to that location. And the vast majority of the houses that's scheduled to be built up under my 50 house project is going to be built in the CRA. What would that mean? That means that the city stands a greater chance than anybody ever in the city of Lake City history developing their community at my expense. So to hate me should be to love me, because no one gets a better return on their investment than what I produce by investing in my community and trying to revitalize it. The city tax base in the city is the biggest gain, the biggest beneficiary, right? They benefit the most off of what I'm getting ready to do in this city. And I'm doing 98% of it in District 10. 98% of it. Where's the help? Nowhere to be found. That's a liability. They're keeping you, ladies and gentlemen, you Lake City taxpayers, from getting the things in this community that you all need. Other city council members that are not from this neck of the woods, they have those amenities. They have houses. They have those things in their neck of the woods. This community doesn't have it. And it's not the people who don't look like us. It's the people who look like us that are being the liability, stopping us from being able to achieve these things. So the question is, it's not what I'm going to do. It's what you as citizens are going to do about these individuals not participating, letting people roadblock the process of houses coming in your community, trying to keep my stuff off the agenda. They need to get rid of Clay Martin. They need to get rid of that city attorney. He's bad business. And they need to get rid of the new city manager. He is not a good fit for Lake City. And the faster y'all see that, the better off y'all are. Any man that gets his pennies in a wad about a building that they couldn't get, which is the Lakeshore Authority building, and then he turns around and uses his authority and his departments to come with a bullcrap, non-conforming and LDR complaint, which the attorneys from Lakeshore Authority Board that they went and hired because they don't have a municipality attorney in Todd. Now, that attorney is handing their behinds to them over at the city, which is right. I sat on the zoning board. I understand what the LDR say. I know what makes it non-conforming. There's no intent in shutting the hospital. There's never been intent of Lakeshore Authority Board shutting the hospital down. There has to be an intent. And the intent has not met that threshold. So, yeah, I think the city should acquiesce on that whole concept. It's nonsense. You're just mad because you couldn't get the building. I think that assessment is fair to say. And you need to grow up and be more mature and worry about what we can do and stop worrying about what has already happened before you got here. Focus on some stuff that you can make a difference on while being here. Work on some new stuff, right? And the churches, they're a liability too. Y'all know I was going to go there. These black churches, I ain't darting not one of their doors. Liability. All they do is suck you dry on Sunday. Talking about they feeding your spirit, man. The only thing I see them do is draining bank accounts and not reinvesting none of the money back in the community. Ain't no shelters for nothing over here in the community. You get out of jail, you're on your own. Only thing they're going to do is tell you they're going to pray for you. Even you a member at the church and you come up on some hard times, they're praying for you. The only thing they may come do is see you when you're in the hospital and about to die, and they're going to be at your funeral. That's all you're going to get out of the church. They don't show up to no more court dates for your children or your grandchildren or you. They're not showing up when you're in a financial crisis. They're not teaching you how not to be in financial crisis. No financial nothing. They're not evangelizing within the community. If it ain't pertaining to that membership, which is a social club, if you don't belong to that social club, which is a church, no matter what you want to call it, whichever denomination, that's just a social club. You might as well give them a social card and they're part of a clique, right? Because those are the only people that matter inside those four walls that are part of that membership. Nobody else matters. And that's not how the church was designed. I guess since King died, everything else with the church died. I guess everything else was assassinated with King. So you're looking at your new ministry. You're looking at the new church. I am he, and he is I. And this has to be our new ministry, because if you're counting on the black churches, you might as well go ahead and just dig your own grave and put yourself in the goddamn casket and bury yourself, because it won't happen, right? And if you're waiting on elected officials that look like us to do it, we've been waiting for too many years. They're not going to do it unless you pile up on them, show up on them, get rid of them, and force their hand to make your community what it should be. You shouldn't have to be worrying about walking outside. It's too dark, you can't see, or your children leaving at 4 in the morning, going to school, and that place ain't lit up. No one have those safety lighting issues but us. Bad roads, bad lighting, bushes, abandoned houses everywhere. We even got a new school, new park being revitalized, and we got the most condemned houses just hanging around in our community. Where is the push for beautification and getting rid of blight? Just think about what I'm saying. If it don't make sense, then just tune me out. But typically, anything I bring to you on a platform like this, it's going to be accurate. No one can deny what I'm saying. And no one can deny that I got more of my own skin and game invested in this community than the city has tax dollars in this black community. And that's a fact. I pull out my accounting record and I ask the city to pull out their accounting record, and we'll go penny for penny, dollar for dollar. Both y'all got an accountant, I got my CPA firm, and I guarantee you I show more of my own skin in the game, money-wise, dump back and invest in my community than our own city government has put back in our community. Yeah. From the time period in which I've been advocating. Now, one man against one whole city municipality government, that ain't fair. Y'all get a $70 million plus budget a year. I don't get the luxury of getting that. And I'm still outdoing y'all in the black community. Something about that picture just don't go over well with me, and shouldn't go over well with people who look like me. As a matter of fact, shouldn't go over well with any human being who don't look like me. Just being a human being, period. To hear that and to know that and to do the numbers and see that that's a fact, people should be outraged. And when somebody's outraged, something should happen to make a difference. And that's all I'm asking. Let's make a difference over here. Spend some time over here. Invest over here. This is a good community too. You just hadn't put the investment in that you've put in other communities. These are good human beings over here too. They work hard just like you do. They just look a little different than you do. They have a different culture than you do. They have a different swag than you do. Right? They have a different vernacular than you do. That's fine. But that's no reason not to invest in them or their community. Right? All right. 15 minutes is long enough. You get my point. Liability versus assets. The black church is a liability. Our black elected leaders and black administration is a liability. Who's an asset? You, me, taxpayers, voters. We're the assets. So, what do? Let's take our city back. Let's take our communities back. Love, peace, and grace.